Hello and welcome to my channel. Still continuing with our Egypt vlog. If you haven't seen the previous videos, do check them out. I'll link them down in the description. I know that this video is pretty long, but I just didn't want to cut it into two and make another one out of it. So let's jump right into our virtual tour. I know here also there are a lot of photos, which I am glad that I'm able to share it with you all. And also I'll get to look back at them after a while. This is our third and final day of our trip, and I woke up to this beautiful view. After having breakfast and packing our bags, we got ready and boarded our bus. In fact, we got 2 extra hours to sleep today, as last night after the Nile cruise, everyone was tired. Even our guide was tired, and he said that we can sleep peacefully and then join them by around 9 o'clock. Actually, now we are passing over the Nile, and I'm enjoying thoroughly all the beauty of it as we are leaving tonight. We are now heading off to see the Pharonic Village. This is actually a historic park where we get to see the entire history of Egypt, which is explained to us in around 2 to 3 hours of time. After passing through this restaurant, we have to enjoy a boat ride. That is how our tour starts. This is actually an open-air museum, and the village is home to a variety of replicas of ancient Egyptian monuments, which includes temples, tombs, and pyramids. This park was actually built in 1986 by Dr. Abdul Halim Ramadan. And usually tourists are brought to this place to have a basic idea about the history of Egypt, so that they get to know what to expect when they go to different places. Apart from the tourists, a lot of school children were brought here to learn their history. This place was so amazingly built, and the morning boat ride was also great with the warm sun and a cool breeze. So now I'll stop talking and you can hear our guide explain things much more clearly.
Of God, the most important god in ancient Egypt, the god Osiris, the god of the afterlife. And all the mummies, when they mummify it, they must have the position of Osiris, as we see, because he's the god of afterlife. He's the god who accepts the soul when it goes to the afterlife for judgment. So Osiris is the one who starts to meet them in the afterlife. That's why he's the most important god, because he's the oldest god and the most important god at ancient Egypt. Here we have the funny part of ancient Egyptians. Ancient Egyptians by nature, they like to smile and to laugh, because he's the god of the sun, representing the sun. Was the main god for the temples in ancient Egypt. Temple for god Amun. That was very important for ancient beliefs, because this was the religion for them. Amun is the god of the temple, where they have to give offering and to go to ask for wishes, and for them he is the god of all goddesses after Osiris. Nation and Egypt got the temple and removed it to upper place that it will not be covered by the water, because the high dam reserved the water behind and the level of water getting up, and it was very hard to hide the dam. Here we can see the place who is representing the story of Moses in the Quran and in the Bible as well. Moses' mother at that time, the Pharaoh had a dream that one child of Israeli child will be born and he will treat his throne. So the king decided to kill all the kids of Israeli kids that was born at Egypt at that time. So the mother of Moses got in the dream. One of the wives of the Pharaoh was not having kids. So she found the baby and she loved him, and she asked the Pharaoh not to kill him. And this is the ironic story, but it is really story from the Bible and from the Quran, that the king who killed all the kids of Israeli kids, the only one kid that he should kill was brought up in his palace, like his son, and then started to be grow up and to call for Judaism. Playing games and enjoying the nature because they are rich. They don't need to work. They're just enjoying the money and their luxury life. And the servants serving for them. In their farm, they used to have the farmers who cultivating their lands during seasons and raising the cows and sheep for producing milk. And that is the dress how they use it for food and for sending messages. So for every house they used to have this tower of patience to raise it and to send messages for relatives. And actually this is Egyptian invention, where they use it for irrigation, to take it the water from the Nile and to go. Grain to make the bread was Egyptian invention. So during the season of cultivating the grain, they take it to the field. They let the cow to go in circles and the circles around the grain, that they separate the seeds from the leaves, and then this woman throw it to the wind that the ash will fly away. Then they take the grains and to keep it in the silos, like these two silos, that they can use it during the whole year to make the bread. And of course the accountant of the rich man is accounting how much grain they have, that they can control how to spend during the whole year. Honey. They used to raise the honey in their farms and their fields to take the honey for feeding and also for cosmetics, because Egyptian was very famous about cosmetics, perfume, skin caring and such. Get the wood from there. Can you please with one top, not in my ears, to other parts of the world for trading. Fishing in the Nile was one of the famous activities. They spread the net between two boats like you see. Then the man hit the water with a stick to make noisy for the fish, that it goes to the net. Then he take out the net with the fish. Let's see how many fish he had. Oh, nice fish.
رياضة هنا عملوها الهوكي ورقص العصاية والكلام ده.
مش هنا الصناعة؟
هنا الأول الرياضة وبعد كده الصناعة.
On the temples of ancient Egypt, they find pictures, see the industrial life of ancient Egypt. Here we will see the idea how they were building their houses. they use it from mud brick. They put it with ash, mix it with water, put it in shapes in the sun to get dry. Then the builder start to build a house with two layers, one vertical, one horizontal, to keep the balance of the wall. And then, but Richmond houses covered by wood coming from other countries. Glass making, make the papyrus. They cut the lower stick of the papyrus. As we see, this is the lower part. They fill it out to take this cover out. They take the heart of the stick, cutting it to slides, small slides. Then they put it in the water for 14 days to get so soft. Then they put it in two layers, horizontal and vertical, and to cover it with two heavy stones to get dry. Then it comes out like a sheet that they can write on it, as you see. They put it in between the stones, take it out to get dry, that they can write it. So when they started to build the ships to go to Lebanon to bring the wood from there, they started to bring the wood and the expensive wood from Somalia, Eritrea, Africa, Lebanon, and to start to make the furniture and the boats for afterlife. Because in the tomb of the king, he must have the boats with him, because with this boat, he will sail to the afterlife, to the God, to the eternal life. Things. They make jars from Amilatan Lebanon. They making the jars from the butter, and here it make a small trick. We put the water from one side, it doesn't come. Where is the water? It comes from the other side. They used to make it from the mud and to put it in the oven to get dry, and then they can use it. Carving on the temples was very important in ancient. They need to record and to put the autobiography of every king or the most important things in life on the walls of temples. On temples, not in houses. Because temples are more important than houses, because temples is for life, for afterlife. But houses is only for the short life. They don't care about huge houses. They don't care about elegant houses. But they care about huge temple, huge decoration for the temple, because this is the houses for afterlife. And the Egyptians always believe in the afterlife. They believe that normal life is just a way to the eternal life. That's why they take too much care about afterlife, not daily life.
Here they are showing how glasses were made. Ancient Egyptians, especially the rich people, used to store their perfumes in these glass bottles. It's too noisy in this clip, so you can't hear a guide.
As I said, perfume was very important for ancient Egyptians, and they were the first who invented perfume. As we see, they were collecting the flowers, put it in one cloth of linen. The woman tied it in one wall, and to squeeze it from one side to another to take the essence of the perfume and to preserve it in the alabaster jar to keep it. Ancient Egyptian was the first the people who dressed clothes first, and the first clothes was made ever on earth was from linen. Linen was Egyptian discovered. They cultivate it. They take the linen and to get it dry, then they make it through the knoll, how to make it threads like this, and then this is the process how to make the clothes, and after making the clothes to make the dresses for them, because they hate the idea of being naked. The jars from alabaster, because they used alabaster to preserve the perfume for women, because alabaster keeps the component of perfume as it is without pollution. For rich people and for the kings, princes, or wine making as well. So they collected the grapes, put it in this jar, and the man to squeeze it by their legs. Of course, they must wash it first. Then they take the juice, put it in battery jars, not alabaster. Alabaster to put the perfume, but the wine is to put it in battery jars, and to be fermented, to write the date of production, and to put it to be fermented, and as much as more fermented, as much more quality one. Or the weapon factory for ancient Egyptian, because they had huge army and they need to develop their army, so they used to have strong arsenal, strong military production, developing this military production all the time, that they have the power to invade the other countries. People very puzzled till now how they used to make mummification. Till now, nobody knows how they make mummification. Don't believe any book saying that this was so. They know how the materials that was used, because they find some of the material, like garlic, like onion, like vinegar, but how, nobody knows. Actually, when they started mummification, they mummify all the body. They take only, they take only the heart to leave it with the body. Other organs they mummify separately in different jars. But the body stay with the heart stay with the body, because they believe that the judgment in the afterlife on the heart. So you must have clean heart, that you need to go to the heaven. And at the end, we put the heart in the balance. If the heart is light, then you was good man. If the heart was very heavy, this means that you was dark man in life, so you need to go to dark life in afterlife. Like Jannah and Nar, heaven and hell. But people thinking that the ancient Egyptian was very tall and huge and big and maybe like 2 meters or 3 meters. No, they were very normal people. But they made the statues with the kind of magnificence to give the feeling of powerful for the king. So they used to put the huge statues and the huge temples to give magnificent feeling for the life.
Now we were asked to step down from the boat and walk around for the rest of the tour.
We don't have the chance to go to Luxor, to Aswan, to south of Egypt, to see the real Egyptian history, because the capital of Egypt and the real life of Egypt was in the south, not in the north. That's why I suggested this idea here, that we can have the idea how it looks like in the real monuments in Luxor and Aswan. People are coming to the temple to pray and giving offers to the god Ammon. Normal people coming to this part of the temple, they are not allowed to go inside, just for the outside court. The outside court of the ancient Egyptian temple is surrounded with columns. Each temple with different type of column. Here we have the palm tree column, the lotus flower column, and Hathor. Hathor was the goddess of music in ancient time. That's why her ears is so big like this, because ancient Egyptians, they liked the music and they made a goddess for music. Actually, in the original temples, it should be only one style, either Hathor or lotus or palm. But here, because it is a replica, we combine the three of them, that you know how to was the three types of columns. For kings, queens, they were carried by this chariot here, and the slaves carrying them on their shoulders to go inside the temple to the god Ammon chamber. Normal people just here, only kings and the queens inside. And because I have 34 or 32 Indian queens, we will let you go inside. God Ammon should be made from pure gold, with a lot of perfume, with light, with a kind of a spiritual effect, that kings and queens can come inside here to put the offering for them. For normal people, priests need to take the statue outside court to put it in the middle, that people give the offering, because they are not allowed to come inside. Only kings and queens can come to this chamber to put the offer inside. The circle of the sky over their hands. Inside we have 36 icons. 36. Each they are representing the Egyptian weeks. At that time, there was no months, it was weeks. Even women need the temple. Ladybird was the symbol of fertility in ancient Egypt. Why? Because it gives a lot of eggs and it takes care a lot of their eggs. So it is a sign of tenderness and feminism. Every morning the ladybird going up from her covered place, pushing her eggs out to the sun to warm them. When the sun go out, the ladybird is going back. It's going back.
You are much better.
It's going. Yeah, you are much better. It's going back to her covered place to stay on her eggs. The scarab or the ladybird is important for ancient women. That's why they always make it like a necklace from gold or silver or valuable stone on their necks, because the young girl who want to get married, she used, and she don't have a husband or a man, she used to come to the temple, to go 7 times around the temple, around the ladybird with the clock side. 7 times to get married. The social life of ancient Egypt. This is how the houses of rich men in ancient Egypt. Outside the house, we can find the chariot that the nobleman used to have for hunting in the Sahara or for going to the war. And it was Asian, actually it is Persian invention. When the Persians came to Egypt in trying to invade Egypt and were defeated, the Egyptians catch one and they started to develop it. The Persians were using it with elephants and with heavy animals.
Now we are entering the rich man's house. There were many rooms in a rich man's house, but one thing that I noticed was, be it rich or poor, the toilet is always the same. A lot of pots and other daily used items were exhibited in a lot of rooms. We got to see the servants' room and the kitchen, which was near to it. Also, the stable was near to the servants' room.
The woman always with her servants, doing her hair, her jewelry, playing harp and music for her to relax, putting the cosmetics for her, the perfume for her, the lotus. I said perfume is so important for any Egyptian woman at that time. And to take care of her beauty was much more important for any other thing.
This big lotus pond is situated next to the rich man's house. This is from where they used to collect the lotus flowers for the perfumes.
Ladies, as we see the house of the rich man, here we are seeing, please don't go up because it's not allowed. As we see the houses of the rich people, here we are using, or you can see the house of the normal poor people of ancient time. Scorning the grain to make the flowers for making bread, because they reserve the grain, because they cultivate it once a year. They keep it in the house for the whole season, that they can use it part by part. Every day they are just scorning what they need and to use it for food. As I said, Persian house is very important in ancient time because they are using it for food. Just like this. Then they take some ash and to put it to the... As I said, one of the Egyptian habits that they need to record everything on the walls of temples. Like they knew that they will go and years will pass and many generations will come after to know about them. So they decided to record things on a stone, on a huge building that they will stay in the history and the memory of everybody. Not just in one book who can disappear or who can be lost, but they put it on a stone like this. So carving and coloring was very important. This scene that we see over here, the original one is in Karnak temple in Luxor, and it shows the battle of King Ramses II, the greatest pharaoh of Egypt, was fighting with the Hittites or the Syrian people when he invaded Syria. And the Egyptians at that time was very smart. They invading the country, they occupying the country, but they don't make hatred between them. Yes, we became one country, we became your friends, and the kings decided to marry the daughter of the Hittite king to be his wife, to make peace treaty, and that was the first peace treaty in the history of humanity between Egyptians and Hittites, and it is reserved in the Egyptian Museum.
We had two Moroccan girls who were our travel agents, and they had joined us from Dubai. That's Aisha and Sal. And our guides, Mr. Tariq, Ahmed and his daughter Maya, who was studying medicine. And it was her birthday. Our guide took us through a tunnel and we reached a place which represented the replicas of Tutankhamun's tomb.
Powerful of the king. They find the mummy, and on the mummy they find 365 items, like beetles, snake, cobra, daggers, all the things that the king needs in his other life and to protect him from bad spirits. As you see, the fingers of the hands and the feet is covered with gold, because they believe that the bad spirits going to the body through the nails. And subhanallah, in the Quran, God asked us to cut our nails because it is the place where devils or bad spirits can come to our body. That means that Egypt was ruling Asia and Africa at that time. Also, they find the only golden throne for a king from ancient time. A pure gold chair, pure gold.
This is the king's head that is emerging from the lotus flower. This throne is made of wood and covered in a thick layer of gold and glass pieces. And the back panel shows the king and queen talking together. It's a shrine and it was probably made for the god Amun, but the statue was never found. The king's armor shows the king as his phoenix trampling two captives, symbolizing the triumph of Egypt over her enemies while the god protects the king. These are alabaster jars inlaid with colored glass for keeping perfumes. These are servant figures who would work for the king. And these are made of wood, stone and gold. There were lots more to see, but we ended our tour by seeing the major portions of it.
Ladies, I hope you enjoyed the tour. I hope you liked what you see.
Yes. ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് ഇഷ്ടമായി ടൂർ yesterday. Hope you too enjoyed it. Tourist type. Very interesting.
And then we have that beautiful mosque over there inside the citadel. That's a mosque. It's called the Alabaster Mosque, and that's for Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali Mosque. And Muhammad Ali was a Turkish guy who came to Egypt in 18.
I was feeling sad about how I'm going to miss all these beautiful views. We didn't get enough time to enjoy everything Egypt had to offer. This trip was very short. But I'm also glad that I got to see a lot of things in this very short time, and also our group was fantastic with a lot of lovely ladies. Earlier in my videos, I had mentioned that Cairo had a lot of incomplete buildings. It is because they are building it to accommodate more of their future generations. People are staying there in the first few floors, but it is for their kids and their families in the future. Next, we were taken to the perfume factory where the perfumes were very expensive. I didn't buy that. Instead, we were next taken to a papyrus factory, but I couldn't take a lot of clips from there. I bought a sheet which had my kids' names imprinted on them.
University in the Middle East or in the world, Al-Azhar. And Al-Azhar Mosque, it's 1,000 years old. So beautiful. Al-Azhar Mosque.
We were then going to Khalili Market in Cairo. It's just like the Rola market that we have here in Sharjah. The place was very congested and the roads were filled with cars. Our bus had to drop us off at a point because they couldn't park it there, and then we were given around 1 hour's time to roam around the market and to get the souvenirs and gifts that we wanted to buy. We also got to see kids selling small trinkets and food. There also we were only able to venture into a small area. As we were all ladies, we were all busy with our shopping spree. Here we had to bargain a lot with the shopkeepers to reduce the price. Once they knew that we were tourists, they were singing Hindi songs and talking in bits and pieces of Hindi just to make us happy. I personally felt that it was much cheaper to buy the souvenirs from the people who sold it near all those tourist attractions. Here it was very pricey. This is while we were going back. We were on a bridge, and that is when we got to see the extent of this place and the crowd that it encounters each day. This is one of the very famous places which sold shawarma in Cairo. Unfortunately, we couldn't go anywhere near that place. It was that crowded. The red shawarma that you can see there is the speciality. It is made out of sausages. We are now heading back to our hotel to have dinner and to pack our bags. One last view from this window and it's bye-bye to Cairo. Now for one last sightseeing, they brought us to Walk of Cairo, which is the modern Cairo. All this time we saw the old Cairo and it had a different view, like going into the past. But here it just changed everything. Coming here we were getting strong Dubai vibes like Lamar, Blue Waters, like that. The weather in Egypt is what amazes me a lot. It's very hot in the daytime and very cold at night. Right now we were all in our jackets and shivering as this is open air. But we were all enjoying the walk. Our guide was also very particular about taking us here. He said that we had to know more about the future of Cairo and how the country is developing. As tourists, we shouldn't be going back to our country and telling that Egypt is all about the past and they have only old buildings and the people are living in poverty. So this is what changes it. Now our trip has come to an end. We said bye to Mr. Ahmed and his daughter was also there with us, Maya. They were heading back to Cairo and Mr. Tariq was the one who was accompanying us to Alexandria, which is around 2 to 3 hours drive from Cairo. We said bye to Mr. Tariq and headed into the airport. While coming here, they didn't check our bags, but when we were returning, they were checking our bags very thoroughly and they wanted to see all the souvenirs we were carrying, which I felt was very odd. Irrespective of all that, coming to my dream destination really rejuvenated me. Getting to see all the new things and meeting new people, I really felt alive when I was returning back home. Leaving this place, my only wish was I need to come back again with my family. So if you liked our video, do subscribe and until we meet next time, bye.